What is up today, YouTube? If you came here for awesome skating, then you can kind of just leave. So as you guys know, I am not the best skater. Why am I not the best skater? Everybody wants to know, are you a good skater? Are you a good skater? Well, I'm a weekend skater at best. So that is 52 sessions a year. Now let's just say I'm injured for 4 of those sessions, which would be 1 month. And winter hits for another 12 of those weeks. So now we're at 16 weeks. And then let's just say I'm a little busy for another 2 weeks. That's 18 weeks. So we're talking I get maybe 30 sessions a year. Not a lot. So the fact that I get to just cruise and go around and carve like a place like this is really fun. So the way today's video is going to be structured is I have 2 injury stories that make today's challenge a little difficult. Then I'm going to do today's challenge. I'm going to finish up on a current injury story a little bit. I'm going to touch on it. Don't want to talk too much about it. And then I'm going to finish up on the architecture of this park. So let's get into some injuries. So about 5 years ago, on that particular little weird ramped curve thing, was the first time I ever came to this skate park. And my brother and his ex, but current at the time, happened to be with us, and she kept asking me if I could skate transition. Now I love skating transition. Carving is one of the most fun things to do. I could carve all day long, but I don't really skate like vert and stuff like that. I barely skate mini. Doing things to fakie, like kickflip fakie, heel flip fakie, that's one thing, but doing like full airs and that, never been my cup of tea. So she kept asking me, could I do a grind at the top of a quarter pipe? And the answer is yes, I can slash, but I wasn't really feeling it that day. I didn't really want to do that on the stuff here. So I decided to go up and do a feeble stall on that little curb, and I ended up coming back in and catching, and I folded my ankle, and then I sat on it, and I actually broke my ankle. Then I had to bind it with a t-shirt, ride 6.5 hours home in the back of a car stuffed in. Next day, immediately back to work. And the reason why I immediately went back to work, now I know I broke my ankle. I have photos of it. The entire underside of my foot was completely yellow. Both sides were completely blue and purple. The reason why is because I had hurt my knee like 2 months prior, and I was still paying off the x-rays of that. So I never had x-rays done on my ankle. But one day the pain stopped. It took about 7 months. So that's that story. That's why this park does make me a little nervous, and that's why my wife, who is sitting in the car talking to a friend, has decided that I'm not allowed to skate that obstacle. Even though when I was here 2.5 years ago, I did film 2 old school Sundays on it. But I'll respect your wishes, and I'm not going to skate that today. So let's get into injury number 2. So injury number 2 is when I was way back in college, and this will make sense when I explain today's challenge. I was learning how to drop in. I dropped in on some banks and that, but my college skate park was literally 100% transition. If you guys remember those old videos, very poorly filmed, very poorly edited. Those was like my introduction to carving and stuff like that, that park. So learning to drop in there made sense to me. And like here, they had a very mellow, bankish quarter pipe sort of, and I was learning to drop it. I do it 3 times every single session at the end of the session, and I was waiting until I could do it very consistently, no problems, no issues, before I wanted to take it to a legitimate, like mini, 4-foot mini. And I ended up on an old phone, so I have the footage somewhere, but I really don't know where. Pretty much I leaned too far back, I came down and pinched my knee, and I tore my MCL and dislocated my knee, and actually put my kneecap on the side of my leg. And I crawled to my phone, and when I grabbed my phone and flipped over, I remember having my knee come back into place, and I laid there for a while. So it really blocked mentally drop-ins for me. Drop-ins are very, very scary to me, and they're very scary to many people. But let's get into today's challenge. So today, we're going to be working a little bit on drop-ins because I've been playing around with that. So I'm going to drop in a few times. There is a very mellow 3.5 foot-ish like mini here. And I want to work on air outs or roll outs, whatever you want to call it. But I remember when I skated with Austin at Penn Skate last, which is an indoor skate park, me and him were doing fast plant, like air outs. And I remember wanting to learn just the traditional, like kind of like ollie, even though you're not ollieing. And in the end, we ended up going to skate the Mini Mega instead. So there's the perfect spot here for it. And that's really what I just want to work on, is just being able to roll up and roll out. Something I've really never done before. Now, I know for a fact you can ollie, but it does make it a lot more difficult. So that's something I have to keep in mind. Let's get warmed up and let's get this done. So why am I not skating the really, really bad element flat bar here? Why am I not skating the really bad ledges here? Why am I only skating this? And I did film an old school Sunday on a bank. Why am I only skating those things? Well, I accomplished a bucket list item that I'm not gonna tell you guys. It's off my bucket list and it's personal, but pretty much I ended up pulling my groin doing it. Yesterday was a lot worse. It was really hard to walk around. Today I'm able to skate. Now when I bail and my legs kind of spread a little bit, I get a lot of tension in my groin, but it's not enough to take me out of skating, but it is enough to keep me from skating really, really hard. So carving and transition stuff just made more sense today. If I'm feeling better and I got time to come back, then I will skate another time. But I really wanted to get out and skate a bunch on this vacation, but honestly, I work a lot and I've really just been enjoying relaxing, hot tub, swimming, just a bunch of fun, spending time with my wife. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let's talk about the architecture of this park and what makes it a good and a bad park. So all the ledges are completely made of concrete and they have 8-foot strips of angle iron on them. But I mean, they're not really well put together, and that is literally every ledge here is like this. Instead of having an awesome fabricated flat bar, they actually have an element bar very, very poorly mounted into the ground. And then you have the classic stuff like, hey, let's put a hubby here with 0 roll up to it, because that makes perfect sense. There are 2 pyramids here, both completely nearly unskateable. They are incredibly steep. They make no sense in their positions. And like, why? Then we have the main section. We have the main hubba and the main rail. Still, really not a lot of rolling. We're talking maybe 15 feet. And you got this weird, like 1.5 foot tall, really steep ramp for whatever reason. One single prefabbed quarter pipe with really nothing holding it into the ground. And that lip is a lot bigger than you would think. And then overall, there's a reason why I'm calling it the well-endowed skate park. Because 2 bowls, 2... Perfect. Well, what makes the skate park a ton of fun is the fact that you have to get creative with it. And I love getting creative, especially when you're skating something that you've never seen before. How many times have you seen a 1.5 foot tall curb with a really weird sloped mini quarter pipe to it? But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I'm gonna go back to enjoying my vacation. As always, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. As always, have a great day, and stay tuned for the bonus clip for proof how good Handskate products are. This right here is a blind sticker. I love these stickers. I get them anytime I buy a blind board. They're usually very colorful. This one, the sun has really bleached out. But if we look up here, 2.5 years later, still beautiful colors.